future, and now it's a race.
Of course it's a race!
But what does that mean?
It means your future hasn't been written yet. No one's has. Your future is whatever you make it. So make it a good one. Both of you.
Please take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back to Homeschool Podcast. I'm Agostino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschool Podcast. It's good to have you with us. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know you have a lot of options out there for podcasts, so it means a lot to us that you're here right now. If you're a new listener, we appreciate you. And if you're a returning listener, we really appreciate your loyalty. And the best way to support this podcast, you guys, is by going to homeschoolpod.com, which is your one-stop shop for everything Homeschool Podcast. You can find all the links of the best places to listen to us, including YouTube. So you can please subscribe on YouTube to help us out there. And when I do have tour dates, I put them up there. Although this year has been pretty all over the place. So tour dates come and go. So check them often if you can. Plus, I usually put those on social media. And also, you guys, the merch, the Homeschool Podcast merch is the best way to support. I know it's tough out there for everybody right now. You ain't got tons of money and you're cutting back wherever you can. It's hard to do all these subscriptions or make new purchases right now. So I do have a lot of sponsors that are all like products and services. And sometimes it's hard for certain people right now. You're cutting back wherever you can. But if you can support the Homeschool Podcast in any way, pick up a t-shirt or something, because it doesn't cost us anything to print them. They don't make them and they don't print them until you actually order them. So I get a very, very small profit from that. And I mean, just a couple of bucks, but that's all that we need really. But mostly we benefit from the free publicity of you walking around with our t-shirts. We have a brand new design. It's called the Document the Journey Homeschool Podcast design. It's dope. It's very loving. It's a peace signal using my actual hand, but you check it out for yourself. It's a cool graphic design, and while I'm doing the peace signal, I'm holding a podcast microphone, and there's words that kind of make a circle around it that says "Document the Journey," and it also says Homeschool Podcast. You guys, it is awesome. I just got like all my t-shirts in the mail of it. I'm gonna start rocking them in all the different colors. And they also have masks. If they're making you wear some placebo masks when you guys go out, at least you can rep the Homeschool Podcast. I also got doggy hoodies. Are you kidding me or what? You and your dog can both walk down the street repping the Homeschool Podcast. It would be awesome. And while you're there on the website, homeschoolpod.com, click on merch and check out all of those t-shirts and stuff and hoodies and whatnot. And while you're there, you can also click on sponsors and see all the products and services that sponsor our podcast, like Puffy Mattress, which is America's voted number one mattress and it's made in the USA. It's the number one mattress of all the memory foam mattresses that get delivered to your door. And if you've tried the rest, now it's time to try the best. I feel like that's like a plumber's logo or something like that, or a lawyer. Anyway, I don't want to steal their shit. But listen, you guys, Puffy Mattress is the way to go if you are in the market for a new mattress. And I know that every time you go on Instagram or YouTube, all those ads for all those mattresses, try ours, we're the best, no, we're the best, and all the reviews are basically like paid sponsorship reviews. I can tell you firsthand, I have tried a bunch of those mattresses, and none of them are compared to Puffy Mattress, which within days, I was no longer having the back pains that I was having with my old mattress. And then I tried a couple of those other ones that you guys keep hearing about, and I complained that I was still getting back pains when I woke up in the morning, and it wasn't a great mattress. And they told me, oh, you gotta wait, you gotta get used to it. And I guess that's kind of true in some cases, but listen, I want a mattress that's great right away. I know that they say you gotta get used to the new mattress, but you know what? When I go to a hotel or like an Airbnb and they have like a really nice, like expensive, quality mattress, I get a great night's sleep right away, and I wake up with no back pains, and I need to get used to that. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I knew that I had to get to the bottom of it, and I tried Puffy Mattress. Mostly, I'm going to be honest with you, because they were one of the ones that wanted to work with me as sponsorship. So I go, let me give them a try. And you guys, I am now having zero back pains. I've been sleeping on it for several months now. I don't have no back pains anymore when I wake up. My wife either. And it's amazing. Okay, you guys, right now, you can help out the Homeschool Podcast and help yourself out by finally getting a great night's sleep. It's 100% money back guaranteed. You can try it out for 101 nights, and if you don't like it, you get your money back, okay? You got nothing to lose, and you're going to help out the Homeschool Podcast at the same time. So click the link in the description to get $300 off your Puffy mattress, and you'll also get one King Puffy pillow, which, you guys, I've been sleeping on that thing for months. Also, it came with my mattress. I got to tell you, it's my favorite thing in my bed, besides my wife, if you know what I'm saying. That thing is awesome. It's giant. It's so thick. I mean, I'm a weird guy, I guess. I don't like a firm mattress. I like sleeping on a cloud, but I do like a nice thick pillow for my neck support. And this thing isn't too thick to the point you get a cramp in your neck. You just sink right into it. I can't even describe to you how great it is. Listen, click the link in the description right now. Hook yourself up. Hook up the Homeschool Podcast, and fill out the form online. You might actually qualify for zero down and just make payments on it. I know it's tough times, you guys, and anything that helps. So thank you for tuning into the Homeschool Podcast. Now, down to business. Got a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about. I have no co-host with me today. I have no guest. It's another one of my solo episodes that I'm doing. Mainly because I have something on my mind. Now, normally, if you listen to this podcast a lot, you know my co-host Kevin Lyons is usually here, but he hasn't been the last few episodes. He's back home dealing with some family issues in his hometown in Massachusetts, so that's where he is. And also, I usually have a guest. I have guests in here all the time. We have great guests, comedians, nutritionists, writers, all different kinds of performing artists, and we talk about different things. We document the journey of a person aspiring for something. But occasionally I do these podcasts where it's just me, solo, and trying to just talk to a camera and feel comfortable about it, and talk about some things on my mind. So I do have some things. I try to write them down so I don't forget. And I wanted to do a solo podcast with you guys for a couple of reasons. Number one is I want to talk about this year so far that everybody has affected everyone's lives, and how I see people struggling with it, which, is a common topic. I suppose we've talked about it before, but I want to talk about it in a different way. I want to really address the year 2020. And then another reason is I'm celebrating a birthday coming up this weekend. I'm not telling you that because, I love people to acknowledge my birthday. As a matter of fact, I turned it off on Facebook, because you know how you're supposed to, everybody gets a notification when it's your birthday on Facebook. I turned mine off. I think I did it last year. It was the greatest thing I ever did. I turned it off, and I just didn't want to get all those notifications anymore. Anyway, it's not about that. I just wanted to talk about it because I want to address my life where it is at this point. Okay, so let's get started on the first thing. It's 2020 right now, and I want to talk about how I hear people say constantly, "This year sucks," and I know what you mean. I completely know what you mean. I know what you're referring to. Everybody knows what you're referring to. I see a lot of jokes going around about 2020. There's 1,000 memes and jokes that people make, and one of my favorites I think is the Back to the Future one, as I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, where they show that Doc is telling Marty, make sure that you don't set the time machine to 2020. I mean, it's funny stuff. And I know what everybody means. Sometimes you can't take people literally, but I do want to address the fact that people kind of almost make it seem like we're doomed because of this year, or this year is some sort of bad luck, or something along the lines of the Mayans got it wrong. This is the real, or the Mayans got it right, but if the clock changed at some point, so this is the real 2012. Remember in 2012 the world was going to end. That's what the Mayans said, and now they're saying like, well, actually this was the 2020. So I see shit like that. Listen, the point is, nobody knows what's true, and what I do want to talk about is how 2020 is going to be whatever you make it to be. It's a state of mind. I know it sucks. We're more than halfway through the year, you guys, and it's been not like previous years. You didn't do what you wanted to do. You didn't do the traveling that you like to do, or the favorite places you like to travel to. It wasn't safe to go to, and you don't really go out as much because you're worried about the spikes that you hear about, the spike in the COVID, and I just keep seeing all these things floating around about how 2020 sucks, and you guys, it's not that it sucks. I mean, I guess it does if you want to look at it that way, but it's not that it sucks. It's whatever you allow it to be. It's whatever you make it. It doesn't have to be terrible. It could be a state of mind. This is your state of mind. If you not to give you that the glass half full bullshit, but it's almost kind of like that. If you look at it a certain way, then that's how you're going to have it, and that's how you're going to experience it. I do believe in the power of tongue. I do believe in the very powerful mind. That when you speak things, that's what it is. That when you think things, that's what it is. You can speak something into the universe. I believe that. And if you believe in something and you think something enough, or you say something enough, it happens. If you say to yourself, I'm a piece of shit, then that's what you're going to turn into. If you tell yourself you're a bum, or you call yourself an idiot, that's what you're going to turn into. You can't speak like that. I mean, I don't know if you believe in this stuff or not, but I do. But don't you think that, if you had a little baby and every day you spoke to the baby, like, the baby doesn't understand words, but don't you think if you said, like, you're going to grow up to be a loser, like, you're going to be, if you said shit like that to a baby, don't you think psychologically it's going to fuck with them a little bit, even though they don't understand what you're saying? Like, I do believe in the power of tongue and the power of mind. And I think that we need to stop this acceptance of the year 2020. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it just sucks, This year is going to be whatever you make it, and it's not over yet. There's still time. You can look at it as like, a lockdown, and you can look at it as like house arrest. To a certain extent, I agree with you on the house arrest thing, but not really. We can leave our house. We can walk around outside. We can go walk our dogs. We can go, for a drive to a nearby county that is somewhat more open than you, and try their stuff. And, you can go walk on the beach or go for a drive. It's not necessarily house arrest, but I agree with you in the terms of the fact that your government has no right to tell you this. And if you're listening to this and you're in another country, I'm sorry. I don't mean to exclude anybody, but I am saying as Americans, it is our right to not have to be told where to stay and where to wear and where to wait and what we can and can't do. I agree with you. It is like house arrest. I don't believe that you work for your government. I think that your government works for you, and that's the way that it was intended. Okay, so I'm with you on that. But I'm talking about the mentally speaking into it so much that you believe that you're on house arrest, because you're not. And I agree with you as far as like fighting for your rights. And a lot of other countries right now, maybe they don't have the same exact like freedoms that we do, and I feel sorry for them. And I don't mean to complain when other people have it worse. If you're in another country, I know that some parts right now they're experiencing like straight up genocide, man. But I'm not trying to make light of what's going on. It's been an adjustment for everybody. Like if you're used to 10, you're getting 5 right now. And sure, you can look at somebody else who usually gets 1, and they're looking at us going like, they're complaining because they got 5? We always get 1 all year. This is the wrong attitude to have, and I get it. You're right. Yeah, like they're complaining, but they actually have more than you. But the point is like everybody's been affected. If you're a 10, you're now a 5. If you're a 5, you're now a 3. If you're a 3, you're now a 1. Some people have stayed a 1 the whole time. Some people who are usually a 1s got bumped up to 3 due to unemployment or shit like that. I'm just trying to use analogies to explain what I'm trying to say, you guys. And what I'm trying to say is we need to stop this mentality of the year 2020 is just unlucky, or that it's bad, or that we're all doomed. I think that this year is going to be whatever you make it, and it's time for you. And there's a certain point, just like before the pandemic, if they would tell you not to make excuses. They would tell you not to blame things on things. It's all about you. You can't say, I can really give you some examples as a stand-up comedian. I'm sure any profession or performing artists or artists could give me examples. As a stand-up comedian, I can think of a billion examples of this, like people telling you that you can't do something, or that you can't go somewhere, or that you can't perform this and that, and or when you don't get booked, and you can say, well, it's because that guy doesn't like me, and they'll go, well, don't give excuses, or you can say like, this guy is on the fast track on his career, and he gets Netflix specials, and he's not even funnier than me. Like, we can sit here and say that all day, and then people will tell you, well, at the end of the day, it's up to you. Like, how many nights a week this week did you stay home, or stay on the couch, or not write, or not try to be creative or productive? So they'll try to tell you things like that. And that was before the pandemic. Now, during the pandemic, we've all had a giant excuse, and it's such a giant excuse that it's one of those excuses that people can't go, oh, don't make excuses. But I'm about to, you guys. I'm about to tell you, don't make excuses. It is going to be difficult for everybody. It's challenging for everybody. I'm not trying to make light of what's going on, but I am trying to say you control what happens in your year. Remember at the beginning of this year, all your New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. I don't think anybody gave a shit about New Year's resolutions during this pandemic. It's like, New Year's resolutions. I'm stuck in my house. You think I'm not going to eat and drink? Or you think I'm going to go and try to write that book? That's exactly when you should do it. And I'm not saying, if you wanted to be at a level 10, then despite the pandemic, you should be at a level 10. And I am saying that you could at least shoot for 10 and end up at a 5 or an 8. That it's better than 0 or a 1 or anything. You can adjust your goal. You might have made big goals at the beginning of this year. Now, I'm not telling you to give up your goals, because I think that the virus and the pandemic and the people that accept that 2020 is unfortunate as their truth are giving up their goals completely. The goals are just straight up like being lost. People are going, well, with this shit going on, there's no goals. No. I'm not saying there's no goals. I'm saying adjust your goals. The goals are still there, okay? If you wanted to be, just giving examples, if you wanted that, funny clip you did online to hit 1,000 views this year, then, make your goal 800. I mean, shoot for 1,000. But you know what I'm saying? Like, adjust your goals. And you can make this your year. You can do it. It's up to you to make 2020 whatever it's going to be. Now, I know you want it to be better than what it is, and it may not be that. But at least make it better than the way it's currently going. At least make it better than how they're trying to keep you down. And, guys, I need to hear this myself sometimes. I'm not trying to be Mr. Know-It-All. I like to say this out loud because it's either something I discovered, Because I sit there and I have my moods too, like, oh man, this year sucks and stuff. It's yeah, of course. I had tour dates cancel. I had comedy shows going on. I felt like I was making moves. I felt like I was going to start making some money in stand up. I felt like my day job was going to be reduced hours, reduced to part time, and my stand up was going to move up a little bit. And now I feel like it's all going backwards. I feel like if anything, my day job has increased and comedy has decreased, and that was not the plan or the goal for this year. So I feel you, but I recently had this thought, and I'm just sharing it with you. I smacked myself in the face with this thought when I went, it's not that 2020 is bad. It's just that we're accepting it, and we're making it bad. Now, listen, I know there's only so much you can do. You're going to look at me and go, listen, bro, I hear you, but there's only so much I can do. I know what you're saying. Get up and get out there and go do it and make things happen. But if the venues aren't open, if the doors aren't open, if everything's closed, or if they literally won't allow you into this place, it's not really your fault. I get that. I know, guys. But let me ask you something. Is this the first time someone told you can't do something? I didn't think so. Especially as an artist. All my comedians that listen to this, all my performing artists that listen to this, or whatever you are, whatever your dreams and admirations, career person, whatever you are, have you ever been told no before? Have you ever been rejected? Have you ever been told you can't do this or you're not good enough? And as a performing artist, didn't that make you try harder? Now, you may not have gotten where you wanted, but you definitely tried harder, and you did a little bit better than what you thought you would. And that's what I'm asking from you for 2020. Is just to do a little bit better than you thought this year was capable of. You've been knocked down before. I know. We've never seen anything like this. I know. And, you might think it's easy for me to say, but you know what, you guys? It's not easy for me to say. I know you've seen me do some shows here and there, backyard shows. You saw me going to Arizona, doing 8 shows over there, and, performing or going to the Comedy Store and stuff like that. I'm fortunate enough to live close to it, and I at least hang out with some comedy managers and comics, and, I have a podcast, and we try to make things happen. But make no mistake about it, everything I got I worked for even this year. And it wasn't because I was sitting at home collecting unemployment checks. You make moves. I was talking to my friend Doc Willis, who's been on the podcast a couple of times. We're going to have him on again real soon. We were texting, and he was asking me how things are going. And I told him, I was like, dude, did an open mic in my garage. I'm doing stand-up diaries, video diaries for myself for writing. I did Arizona. I did a couple of backyard shows, underground podcasts, things like that. And he says to me, bro, you've always found a way for yourself. And I'm not trying to boast myself, but this is what my friend said to me. And it made me feel good. And it reminded me of who I am. And not to cry over what is not happening. He reminded me of who I am, and he's right. I've always found a way for myself in any situation. And at the time, there were some situations I had never been in before, and I found a way for myself. I fought through it. So none of us have been in a situation like this before, and so we're going to make a way for ourselves. Again, not telling you that you have to hit your goal that you sought out to this year before you knew about the pandemic. I'm not telling you that accept nothing below that. I am telling you don't accept the minimum. Achieve more than your expectations for this year. After you found out about pandemic and you can't travel and comedy clubs closed and businesses closed and schools closed and stuff like that. I get it. You had to adjust your goals now. Okay? And just come out a little better than what's expected. All of us expect to be fucked. All of us expect for this entire year to just be nothing. To be screwed. No school, no sports, no entertainment. We all expect that. Just, if you come out a little bit better than expectations, imagine how good you're going to feel, what people are going to think about you, that you did all this considering. Okay? So that's been the number one thing on my mind for a couple of weeks now, you guys, is this 2020 is bad. It's different. It's different. Yeah, people are dying. What do you mean just different? It's bad. People are dying. Listen, people die all the time. I don't mean it to sound cold. People die all the time. I would love to see a chart on all the other diseases and cancers or flus that have the numbers dropped during all this. What happened to those ones? They went away? People don't just get regular sick no more? People don't get influenza no more? People don't get just, your common flus throughout the year? They don't get those no more? So those aren't getting any reports. It's all just COVID. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not trying to say that I'm okay with people dying, that it's not sad or tragic. If you lost a loved one, it's terrible. But no matter what you lost them to, it was going to be terrible. If it was in an accident. Someone very close to me just lost someone, not COVID related. They were like my age. Really, really close friend of mine and my wife. We used to double date all the time. And so don't think for one second I'm being like cold. And I don't have any remorse. I have a lot of pain for my friend, and I don't. That's about as much detail as I want to go into it. But it's you were gonna be torn apart by a loved one's death, no matter what they died of, and people die of things all the time, And there people died of flus in large numbers every year, and it never made the news. So I just say that this year is different. It's just different, and we're all having to adjust. I just don't want you to give up. I don't want you to brand this year done and over. I just want you to adjust your goals and come out ahead. I understand you can't come out on top, but shoot for coming out on top. And then in doing so, if you come out ahead, you're still above what anybody expected. All right, now I want to talk about, like I said, I got a birthday this weekend. July 25th is my birthday, so this Saturday. I'm just thinking about it because I'm about to turn 32 years old, which is, it's young, but it's not too young. It's not immature. I don't think I've ever really been that immature. I'm sure I have, but, I like to think that I was always a little ahead of my age, but, first time I got married, it was someone much older than me. All my closest friends still to this day are a lot older than me. Right now, some of the people I spend the most amount of my time with, as friends-wise, are like in their 50s and 40s. And I'm going to be 32, and I was just thinking, you guys, even though it's not old, I never really thought I'd make it this far. As weird as that sounds. And maybe that's a thought that a lot of young people have. Let me know if you guys thought that too. But I never really could see myself in my 30s. And I think that's crazy to say because 32 is super young. But maybe that's just a common thing. Maybe when you're young, everybody thinks that, I know that, I think it's a common thing that young people think they're going to live forever and they do wild, crazy things and they think their body is invincible. But I wonder if there's a lot of people like me where I always thought I am not going to see that far. I never really thought I'd make it this far, you guys. And, you know, it's weird. It's definitely weird. I don't know if that's a morbid thing to think. And I was never sad about it. I was never upset about it. I didn't think like I was gonna die of some kind of disease or cancer or something. It wasn't that. I never really thought in depth of like my death and how it would happen. I just didn't picture myself making it this far, or being an older person. Not that 30s is old, but at the time when I was thinking it seems old. I never thought I would make it this far. And I think that's part of the reason. I would say not the reason, but part of the reason I got married so young to a person that I was not really in love with. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I'm not sure if it's the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, which obviously it didn't work out. But, that's a serious doubt that you shouldn't have in your mind when you get married, is like, man, I don't know if this is the right choice. I don't know if this is the person I want to be with the rest of my life. I think that a part of the reason that I went through with it, because I was just like, you only live once type of attitude, and I don't think I'm going to live that long. I don't see myself being old anyway. So I just think I didn't really see it as that much of a risk. And to be truthful, it wasn't that much of a risk. We never had kids together. The divorce was pretty easy. We didn't own property together. You know what I mean? We were young. We didn't own anything anyway. So it wasn't necessarily a giant risk. But I just think I always thought, like, what's the big deal? If it doesn't work out, like, it doesn't work out. I'm either going to be dead or something, or we'll get divorced. What's the big deal? And then obviously my second marriage, I didn't have any of those doubts at all. And you just notice a difference. And same thing, I don't own like property or have tons of money, and you know what I mean? I could easily get divorced, but it's just like, that's not what would be the most important thing to me that I would be losing. That's a sign right there that if you're thinking about marriage, if we get divorced, I'm going to lose half my shit. If that's your biggest concern when you get married, then don't get married. My biggest concern, if you're in love with the person, is not, if we get divorced, then I'm going to lose my shit. It's, if we get divorced, I'm going to lose this person. And you don't want that, So anyway, I think that's a part of the reason that I got married young. I was like, who cares? Let's just, let's ride this out. Let's see where it goes. And I think that a lot of young people have that mentality. Let's ride it out and see how it goes. I just wanted to live. And I thought that since I had a desire to live so much, that I was probably going to live so hard that I would die, because that's the way that I do things. And again, I didn't put that much thought into it, but I'm thinking back on it now, of me thinking that how I would never really live to be this long. I'm thinking that, I just thought I would live so hard and that I would die, and that's the way I do things. I do that with everything. I indulge. Like, if I love something, I go after it with all my heart and soul, and I think that's why I've always been able to, as my friend said, find a way for myself, is because if I love something so much, I go for it, and I do indulge in things. The stage is very addicting. Being a stand-up comedian is one of my true loves and passions, and I've never loved anything like that. And now again, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking it's a different type of love. I'm talking about, like, I've never been so passionate about something where I've done it this long. I mean, it's insane. I've quit everything. Like, I've lost an interest in everything. People change. You change, your taste buds change, like, as you grow older. You used to like things, now you don't, and vice versa. And I was just a person that I would change so often, of what I wanted to do or things I was interested in. I would get bored so quickly. And you guys, stand-up comedy is the most longest I've ever done anything. It's a way of life. It's a state of mind. It's just who I am. It's a part of me. I started when I was a kid. I started when I was 20 years old. Now that wasn't that long ago, and some people started younger, but you don't understand, like, the transition. Like, I'm 32 now, and I started when I was 20. Okay, I've been doing stand-up. Next February will be 12 years. That's a long time to some people. That's not a long time to some people. But you don't understand the transition of 20 and 32. Like, that's the stage of becoming a man. That's going from, like, boy to man. And I believe I became a man in the comedy clubs. I believe I grew up and was raised by it. I learned a lot of things from a lot of different people and from the stage. And I was absolutely in love with it. And I just wanted to live. And that's how I do things, you guys. I indulge. I'm the type of person that will eat way too much pizza for one lifetime to the point where I can't have pizza anymore. That's why I stop eating things for a certain amount of time. I don't eat meat anymore. I feel like I ate way too much unhealthy things, including meat. I indulge way too much I ate my lifespan worth too soon. You know what I mean? That's how I try to explain things. But that's how I was going to live, man. I was just going to if you told me, you got to do a comedy show at the top of the Empire State Building, on a tightrope, I would have been okay, just go. I don't care if I fall. It'll be a great way to go. I just wanted to live. And I'm just kind of not surprised, but it's just funny to think about. I'm about to be 32, and hey, I didn't think I'd make it this far. And I just want to remind you guys the importance of getting out there and living. Now, what if 32 is my cap? I mean, maybe not. I'm not trying to, speak that into the universe, but I am trying to say that we never know what's going to happen, right? What if the Mayans were right? This is the last year. It's the end of the world. Do you want to go out locked in your house wearing a mask? You got to get out there and live, you guys. You absolutely have to. By the way, from time to time I tell you guys stories about on my Nextdoor app. The app where you can communicate with your neighborhood. Today I saw someone did a post in there that said that they are so sick of dealing with people that don't want to wear a mask and their selfishness. They said for months this is their post, you guys. For months we've been dealing with these assholes who don't want to wear a mask because they're selfish, and I'm sick of it. And I thought that was pretty funny, and I had to make a comment that COVID, you're supposed to contract it within 2 weeks after you're exposed to it, or see symptoms within 2 weeks. Now she's complaining for months this has been going on of assholes like me that don't want to wear a mask. Well, she didn't say like me. I'm just saying that to you guys because I don't like wearing masks, and I do not wear them unless I'm in somebody's establishment where they ask me to. But anyway, that's not what I'm getting at. But what I'm getting at was this is what they said. They're sick and tired of these selfish assholes who don't wear the mask, and they've been dealing with us for the last several months, and they're sick of it. They don't want to deal with it anymore. And my point is, okay, by your logic, shouldn't we be dead by now? We don't wear masks, right? So how come we aren't dead? For months you've been dealing with us assholes who don't wear masks. So if not wearing a mask is so fucking bad, how come I'm not dead? And how come all the people who don't wear a mask, who you're complaining about, who irritate you so much and you can't take it anymore, we're going to die, right? So who cares? You're not going to have to deal with us pretty soon. We're going to be dead. I mean, it's been going on for 3-4 months now. We're not wearing masks, and we're not dead. So if you've had to deal with us for 3 or 4 months now, doesn't that mean that we're not going anywhere? Doesn't that mean that we're not dying from COVID? And doesn't that mean that we're not dying from COVID because masks aren't doing shit? Anyway, thank you for that, for allowing me to have that little rant. My point is, guys, is you got to go out there and live. I never thought I'd make it to be this age. 32 is very young, but I just never pictured it. As I said before, I think some people, they feel when they're young that they're invincible and they're going to live forever. I used to think when I was young that I wouldn't make it this far. It's just weird to me that I'm about to be 32, and I just want to stress to everybody that you've got to get out there and you've got to live your life. Tomorrow can be over. Fuck COVID. You can get hit by a bus because the fucking bus driver is wearing a mask and it fucking fell and he tried to pull it up and his hand blocked his eyes and he didn't see you crossing the street and he fucking hits you by a bus. You guys, you've got to live your life. And that's what I'm going to start doing. Not that I've stopped, but I'm going to start taking my own advice and doing it harder and adjusting my goals and coming out higher than expected. Okay? There's a beautiful life out there. It's a beautiful summer we're having. Beautiful weather. Go to scenery, great places with great sceneries. Go hiking. Go to the beach if you got one. Go by any type of body of water that you got. Lakes, kayaking. Do activities. Do stuff. If you're scared, fine. Do stuff where you're not going to be so close to people. Okay? My kayak is 10 feet long. All right? I'm not going near nobody. Okay? There's stuff that you can do. Enjoy your spouse, enjoy your partner, enjoy your kids, enjoy your parents while you can. My parents are extremely scared of the COVID. My dad wipes down pizza boxes and cigars, but I'm trying to tell him it's what's inside that's going to kill him, not on the outside. He's trying to clean the germs. He sanitizes his cigar and the pizza box. Anyway, my parents are extremely scared of COVID, and I have to accept the fact that I know my parents are going to die one day. I've thought about it for many, many years. It's not something you want to think about, but as a person, especially a man who's the only son of 4 children, I'm the only boy, it's a big responsibility. It's something you got to deal with, especially if one goes before the other. It's just something. We all got to deal with it, and it's not something that I want to do, but I got to tell you something. I ain't afraid of COVID. It's going to be something. And I want my parents, and I wish that they had my output, to live their life. I want them to go out and live. Live. What if it all ends tomorrow? What if there is a big corona, you're going to die in a week? What'd you do this week? Watched fucking Chopped again? Sat in front of the TV again? Lived your Groundhog Day again during this quarantine? You guys, you got to do something. There's life. There's life. Live. Stop being so afraid of dying that you're not living. It could all be over. Now, I get depressed thinking about this stuff. And, I'm going to be 32 on Saturday. And I'm not interested in big birthday celebrations. I am using it as an excuse to at least see some friends and family and go do some activity together. In a town that still allows it. So that's what I'm going to do. But, it can get you down. I get it, guys. I get it. It gets you down. You're battling depression. You're battling something mental, too. You cannot have, with all this stress and violence and protests and riots and COVID, and it's bad for you. On top of it, you're stuck in those 4 walls. You got to get out. You got to go live. You gotta breathe fresh air. You have to. It's so important. You're fighting depression. It's gonna get a hold of you. So I'm trying to look back on some accomplishments of mine. I'm not gonna sit here to boast myself to you guys, but I have to say this out loud for me, to speak it into the universe, to spread positivity for myself. I'm about to be 32. This 2020 bullshit's got everybody down. And, we're all sitting here just waiting for the year to be over, and hopefully it doesn't last years. And then I was trying to make something of myself. I was trying to have my career move forward and up and up and up a little by little every year. And now it's at a pause. And, so I have to remind myself that, what I've done so far, I have really accomplished some great things. Really. Considering where I come from, I think I've come a long way. I often look at my friend Joey Diaz and admire his story with how he's come from, with his mother dying and basically being homeless, and look at the life he's made for himself and came from, on his own from the ground up. And, I look at all my friends like that, and I have to remind myself, I'm only 32. I'm about to be 32 years old. And let me take a minute and stop and think about what I've done and where I've come from. I think it's a long way. So I do not come from a wealthy family. I'm one of 4 siblings. I'm the only boy. I'm the youngest. I got 3 older sisters. My parents had started their family when they were in their teens. My dad was 19 and my mom was 16 when they had their first kid. And I think that's just way too young for people to start a family, and they face challenges their whole life. Eventually, they had 4 kids. By the time my dad was, 24 years old, he had 4 kids. I'm 32, I have none. And I'm not trying to say I'm better. I am trying to say it was different times back then, and people make their choices. And my parents did an amazing job with the cards they were dealt. And when you're young, you make choices that are not necessarily the right ones. And it's how you deal with those when you're older. And I think that my parents did a great job. I think that I learned a lot from them. I'm thankful for the way I was raised. But bottom line is, you guys, is that we don't come from money. My family struggled because of them starting a family at a young age. I remember my dad not working a lot. And then when he did work, it was really like just jobs. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my parents had their own room and us 4 kids sharing the other room, 2 bunk beds. Then my oldest sister had a kid of her own, and she moved out, and then got married, and she's got more kids. She lives far away now. And then it was like 3 of us sharing a room. And then when I was old enough to where I was too old to be sharing, a bedroom with 2 girls, I moved to the couch, and I grew up on a couch. And I'm not sitting here trying to cry to you guys. I just, I've paid my dues. You know what I mean? When people talk about like, oh, stand-up comedians that live in their car, like have mad respect for them, they're paying their dues. I do too, but it doesn't mean I haven't paid my dues because I haven't done that. I've struggled, and I wanted to be a stand-up comedian in a town where everybody on the planet wants to be famous. And when you tell your friends and family that you want to be a comedian, I don't think that they, especially when you're so young, I don't think that they acknowledge that you wanted to be a stand-up comedian as much as they're saying like, oh, you want to be like an actor, like a comedian actor, like Jim Carrey. That's kind of what people thought when you told them. Like, you want to do it all? I'm like, yeah, I guess, you want to do it all. But to be a stand-up comedian, that's, and in Los Angeles, everybody wanted to be famous. And that's where I grew up. And, you have a lot of, my family is always supportive, but you do always have a lot of people who are just like, that's a tough business, which they're not wrong. Everybody in this town wants to do that. So 1 in a million make it. And I had absolutely zero clue what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor who was already doing stand-up at the time when I started. I literally just like walked into an open mic and told myself I'm going to do this. And 12 years later, and this is what I do. I'm a professional working stand-up comedian. And you guys, from what I've came from, considering what I came from, now about to be 32, and so far I've been on television as myself as a stand-up comedian performance 3 times. I've been on Netflix once. I've been on Comedy Central twice. I've been on Funny or Die. I've gotten to travel the country to perform with some of the most amazing comedians that have ever took a mic and took the stage. I've gotten to play for large arenas. I've gotten to perform in big casinos. I've gotten to perform in 1,100 seaters. I've gotten to open for, Joey Diaz, and I've gotten to work with some great comedians, legends like Jimmy Schubert, and I've gotten to tour with all these guys, and I've made great friends. I've just done a lot of things, and I remember being a young comic, and as it was happening, especially when Joey used to take me on the road, and I would sit there and do a couple minutes, and then I'd go watch him, and I'd watch and the energy of the crowd, how excited they got him, and I would think about how far he came, and I would really appreciate and sometimes feel like choked up when I thought about, I can't believe I'm here right now. it seems like it was a dream. It was a dream. I was a teenage boy with a dream of stand-up comedy, fantasizing about doing it, and then nobody helped me. Nobody told me how. I just went and sought after it myself, and a couple years later, there I was in a room that holds like 600. With Joey Diaz there, or sometimes I go hang out in the back room of the Comedy Store, and there's like Burr and Rogan and Joey, and we're having laughs, and there's Steve Simone and Schubert and Darren Carter and all these great guys that I've met, talented people, and sometimes they'll pay me compliments, or guys that I started with that are hustlers will tell me that they admire my hustle, or guys that I think are the best writers in the stand-up game have told me that they admire my writing. And you know what, you guys? I think that's a lot to be proud of by the time I'm 32. And it's just the beginning, you guys. It's just the beginning. I'm not going to let 2020 get me down. I'm not going to let placebo masks get me down. I'm not going to let pandemics get me down. I'm just going to adjust my goals and keep moving forward. And I think what I have accomplished so far from a young age in a short amount of time, you may look at it and go, it's good, it's not great, or it's whatever, or in this amount of time your career should be a little bit further along or something like that. And that may be true to some people, and you might be right. But you know what? Considering where I came from, I think that I have exceeded expectations within my limitations and means of the hand that was dealt to me. I think that I did a little better than was expected. And that's what I expect from everybody. And that's what I want you to expect out of yourself. Is not necessarily the best, or the coming out on top, or being, hitting your goal that you made yourself at the beginning of this year, but being a little ahead of what everyone expected. And I want you guys to come out of 2020 better than what you expected and what anybody could expect from you due to the circumstances. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's a little stuff that was on my mind for my 32nd birthday, and I'm glad I got it all out. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend and safe, and you get out there and live. Listen, Puffy Mattress, the link is in the description. Please go to homeschooledpod.com, check out our new design, click on merch, and the document, the journey t-shirts are out, and there's dog shirts as well, fanny packs. It's all on tank tops for the ladies, t-shirts for everybody. You guys, do me a favor, check it out. It's the best way you can support. I want to give a big thank you to my co-host, Kevin Lyons, for all the hard work that he does. We wish him well in dealing with his family. Not that there's anything wrong with his family. I just mean dealing with family matters. And I want to thank all of you who continue to support the Homeschool Podcast or are giving us a try for the first time. I'm sorry if you wanted to see some big, amazing guest or something, but you know what? I got to talk to you guys, okay? My name is Agostino Zoida. Thank you. This is Homeschooled Podcast. Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all.